Ever stop to think about how your phone just knows which way you're holding it? That little bit of magic, that simple interaction, well, it's the start of a story that leads us directly to the most powerful AI being built today. We're going to follow that thread, from the first computers that got a sense of our world to the brand new challenge, building a world for AI to sense in the first place.
Way back in 1991, a guy named Mark Weiser had this incredible vision. He called it ubiquitous computing. And his big idea was that the best technology is the tech you don't even notice. It just disappears. It weaves itself into our lives so perfectly that it becomes as normal as, say, flipping a light switch.
But here's the thing, right? For a computer to just fade into the background and feel natural, it can't be stupid. It has to understand what's going on around it. It needs, in a word, context. So how on earth did we get from a beige box on a desk to a device that actually gets its own environment?
Well, this idea of awareness didn't just stay a theory in some lab. It started quietly popping up in the gadgets we use every day, making them smarter, more useful, and honestly, just a little more magical.
It all began with these really simple things that we totally take for granted now. You turn your tablet sideways to watch a movie, and boom, the screen just flips to match. You didn't press a button, you didn't go into a menu. The device was simply aware of how you are holding it, and it adapted. That's context-aware computing right there.
Or think about the GPS in your car or on your phone. It knows exactly where you are, how fast you're going, what time it is, and it uses all of that data, all of that context, to give you the best route and help you dodge traffic. It's using its environment to be a better tool for you.
So, when you boil it all down, what are we really talking about? We're talking about systems that use information, location, time, orientation, you name it, to get a picture of the current situation. They're not just running code blindly, they are sensing the world and reacting to it.
Okay, so for a long time, that's what context meant. A physical device sensing the physical world. But now the game is completely changed. The most powerful computers on the planet are large language models, and they live entirely in software. And that forces us to ask a whole new question about what context even means.
So this brings up a fascinating question, right? If a smartphone's context is its physical place in the world, what's the environment for an AI like GPT-4? It doesn't have a GPS chip. It has no idea what room it's in. Its entire world is made of information.
And this is where we have to move past what we call prompt engineering. See, a prompt is like giving a single command, but context engineering, that's so much bigger. It's about designing and managing the AI's entire information world before you even give it that command. It's about being the architect of its reality.
And honestly, Andrej Karpathy gave us the absolute perfect way to think about this. He said, think of the AI model, the LLM, as the computer's processor, the CPU. All the information you give it, the context window, that's its short-term memory, its RAM. And that CPU, no matter how powerful, is only as good as the information you load into its RAM at any given moment. Okay, so if we're loading up the AI's RAM with all this context, what are we actually putting in there? You might just think it's your question, but it's actually a much richer, much more carefully constructed package of information.
I mean, think about it. For an AI to be really useful, it needs a lot more than just your last question. It needs its fundamental instructions, the system prompt. It's got to remember the last few things you talked about, the conversation history. It needs to pull in relevant facts from a database. And it needs to know what tools it can use, like searching the web. All of that gets bundled together and stuffed into its working memory for every single turn of the conversation.
But here's the huge twist. And this is what trips a lot of people up. You'd think that more information is always better, right? Just cram more stuff into the AI's RAM. But it's not. It can lead to this problem called context rot. The model just gets overloaded. It starts forgetting instructions, it gets confused, and its reasoning ability just nosedives. And this chart really tells the whole story. What you're seeing here is that for a lot of models, as you make the context longer, as you stuff more and more info into that RAM, their ability to follow a simple instruction buried inside it actually goes down. They lose the needle in the haystack. This is exactly why just having a bigger context window isn't the magic solution. It's all about how you manage what's in it. So if just throwing more information at the AI can actually make it dumber, how do the pros handle this? Well, they've developed a whole set of strategies. It's a craft, really, the craft of engineering the context. This pretty much breaks down the context engineer's playbook. They don't just dump everything in. First,
They write important stuff to an external memory, like a database. Then, they select only the most relevant bits of info for the specific task. They compress long conversations or huge documents down to the key points. And, critically, they isolate different jobs into their own clean context windows, so the AI doesn't get its wires crossed.
And let's be clear, these strategies, this isn't just some clever hack. This is rapidly becoming the most important skill for anyone trying to build a serious AI product. The quality of your AI often has less to do with the model itself and everything to do with the quality of the context you feed it.
And look, you don't have to take my word for it. The folks who built Devin, that famous AI software engineer, they said it themselves, flat out. Mastering context engineering is, quote, the #1 job for people building the next wave of AI. That's what makes the difference between a cool demo and a tool that actually works reliably.
So we've really come full circle, haven't we? We started with this dream of making computers aware of our physical world, and now, as AI becomes the new kind of computer, our job has flipped. We're not just users of the technology anymore, we've become the architects of its reality, responsible for carefully building the world of information that it sees. And that, well, that changes everything.